Hi, everyone, and welcome to your first Adobe Express training session, the first of your two-part training series. I'm Jen. I'm a program manager and trainer at FTIA, and we're a longtime Adobe partner focused on helping end users like yourself get the most out of Adobe's products and tools. And I'm really excited to show you how easy and fun it is to create beautiful content with Express. Just in case you're not that familiar with Express, it's Adobe's all in one content creation tool that makes it easy to design everything from social media posts to videos, presentations, infographics, stylized PDFs, and even web pages. Marketing teams and creatives can still work with the Creative Cloud apps they already know and love to build assets, and then they can use Express to create and share custom brand kits across the entire organization so everyone can create content without worrying about going off brand. And for folks outside of marketing, especially those without a design background, Express makes it easy to create compelling materials without having to go through that time consuming approval process with other departments. By the end of today's session, you should have a solid grasp on the product navigation and user interface. You'll know how to make the most of templates, brand kits, some cool functionality known as quick actions, and generative AI. You're also going to see a few use case examples that are relevant to our line of work. So let's get started.
You can use Adobe Express on any desktop or mobile device. If you're using the web browser, go to new.express.adobe.com or download the Express app on your smartphone or tablet because, yes, you can design on the go. Today, I'm using my preferred web browser, which is Google Chrome, but you can use Edge or Firefox too. And I recommend bookmarking the URL so it's easy to access moving forward. Once you log in, you're going to land on the home page, and I'm going to spend a few minutes walking you through the key areas so you feel comfortable finding your way around. Right at the top here, we have a search bar. This is one of the fastest ways to get started. You just need to type in keywords related to your project. For an example, QBR presentation, and Express is going to give you templates that fit that project. You can be more specific if you want more refined results. Anytime you want to navigate back to the home page, you're just going to click on the Adobe Express logo in the top left-hand corner. That's going to be your North Star in the platform. For the top menu bar here, this is where you have access to premium features. Yours will likely say Teams, but it gives you identical access. The Science speaker here, this is where you have access to submit feedback or ideas directly to Adobe. Adobe is incredibly receptive to feedback, so if you feel something can be improved, please share it. You also have links to join the Adobe Express communities on Discord and Facebook. The question mark icon, this is where you can explore new features, you can get help, and you can access the Adobe support community. The profile picture icon right here, this is where you can manage your account settings, preferences, and plans. The bell is for notifications. This is where you can see if your colleagues or team members shared a project with you for collaboration. You'll also notice a welcome banner with suggestions to jump right in and start creating. You can upload your own content. You can import a PowerPoint deck. You can upload an image or PDF. You can even create a project with files from Illustrator, Photoshop, and Lightroom. You can also generate with AI. Now would be a good time to mention that Express is powered by Adobe Firefly, which is Adobe's own generative AI model. Firefly is trained on Adobe stock, public domains, and licensed content, ensuring your assets are safe for commercial use. The next one are quick actions, also known as the one-click actions, like removing a background, inserting an object, easy file conversion, and my personal favorite, caption a video, which is great for accessibility. And lastly, we have templates. This is where you can access ready-made designs that you can customize to make something your own without starting from scratch. Then we have the left side toolbar, also known as your command center. The new project button, you'll click that anytime you want to start something from scratch. Your stuff, this is where all your content lives. Previous projects, uploaded files, favorites, and saved libraries. With brands, this gives you access to any brand kits you've created or ones that have been shared with you. Templates, again, this is where you have access to templates where you can find pre-made assets and designs. The calendar icon here, this opens up the content scheduler, which allows you to plan and publish posts directly from Express to your connected social channels. The Learn button, here you're going to find tutorials for just about every feature in Express. Adobe Express also has a great YouTube channel that you can subscribe to where different creators from around the world teach you how to use the tool. And I am going to include that link in our follow-up email. And lastly, here we have add-ons. This is a collection of third-party integrations that expand Express's capabilities. There are some very useful ones here. For example, the ones I have installed, I have been using OneDrive and Google Drive, so I can import projects directly from those repositories without leaving Express. So now that you've got a hang of the navigation, let's talk about brand kits. You can think of a brand kit as your company's creative toolbox. It's going to hold your logos, fonts, color palettes, icons, imagery, all the visual elements that help keep your content on brand. You can also include templates in your brand kits, which is one of my favorite features because it makes content creation easy for someone who doesn't have design experience. You can create as many brand kits as you need. One tip I always share, consider making sub-brand kits for specific departments. For example, I use Express for our VIP program at FTIA. We do a lot of custom training sessions, and I like to send out an agenda beforehand. Now I can quickly design that agenda in Express. I can add in the customer's logo, and I think it just gives everything a more polished and personalized touch, and it's really easy to do. Now, I wanted to create a brand with you today. It is a fairly intuitive process, but I just want to make sure that you can jump in yourself and create one. So I'll show you how easy it is. I'm going to click on Create Brand. And for this example, I'll name this Express Demo. I can save this to my personal storage, or I can even save it to a shared project. Then I'm going to hit Create. This is where I'll add everything that makes up the brand kit: logos, colors, fonts, templates, and assets. I'm just going to go here and click on Add Logo. And I'm going to use an example that we like to use for our demos here. This is Altura, a fictitious technology company. And you can upload as many logos as you need, but I just wanted to use one for demonstration purposes. And what you're going to notice is that Express created a color palette that was automatically generated based on the uploaded asset. It's a super simple way to get started, and it takes the guesswork out of picking colors. Now, if you want to tweak that palette, it's very easy. Just click on the three dots here, click on Edit, and then you can enter in a hex code, or you can use the eyedropper tool to hover over somewhere on your logo, and then you can add a color that way. Just make sure to double check the hex code number so you can be sure that it is your brand color. You can also add fonts. Here in Adobe Express, you have access to Adobe's entire library, which is something like 30,000 fonts. But you can upload your own font as well if you would like. Adobe Express supports OTF and TTF file formats. Once you've added everything that makes up your brand kit, you can share it with your colleagues, and you can customize their access with permission controls. As an example here, I'll add my colleague Arash, and I can either give him permission to view and use this brand kit, or I can give him editing access, which will allow him to change anything in my brand kit. Next, we're going to talk about quick actions. Quick actions, known as the one click editing tools in Express, are all designed to help you complete common creative tasks really quickly. You have options like removing a background, easy file conversion, caption a video, which again is great for accessibility. You can even animate characters, which is a big hit with my nieces and nephews. There are also some exciting new beta features, and I encourage you to check them out. One of which is the profile picture maker. I'm going to upload my own headshot for demonstration purposes here. You're going to see that Express is going to offer a range of options for backgrounds. Honestly, sometimes too many to choose from. So you can use the filter to choose a background for yourself. I like solid colors, but you can even upload your own background here. You can also change the shape of the masking image on top. So if you want it to be a square, you can change that here. I do prefer round. You can either download that profile picture or you can click on Edit More to take you into the image editor where we just were. So you can apply effects, you can apply animation, or you can add more elements, whatever you see fit. The next quick action that I want to show you is something that I've been using almost every single day, and that is edit a PDF. I actually prefer editing my PDFs in Express now because it's so user friendly and quick. Of course, there's always a time and place for Acrobat, but for stylizing this, Express is my go to. So I've just added the file that I want to edit. Now, it might take a few seconds to convert that. And that's because it's taking a flattened file and transforming it into editable elements. Once the file is open, I can start stylizing it. So remember that brand kit we created earlier? Well, it's going to come back into play now. Just going to go over to my brands, choose a brand that I want to use, and I'm going to hit Apply Brand. If you want to see a few different options with your brand kit, you can click Apply Brand again. And if you want to go back, this back button is going to be your best friend in Express. Now, I do see an option that I like. Now, something does tell me that maybe the bright green background might not be the best design choice. No problem. I can easily change that background color and I'll just play it safe today and stick with white. But I really did like the font and the font color that it gave me. All right, so now we're getting somewhere. Next, I want to move a section of text. I can easily do that by highlighting the text, and I'm going to group that. And then I'm just going to position this towards the bottom because I actually wanted to use that like a footer. If I want to increase the font size, I can just click on the corner here and drag it out. Perfect. Now I want to make some room, so I can add some visual elements like a chart or a grid. So I'll easily move this text box here, and now I've made room for an element. I'm going to navigate over to the left side here, charts and grids, and I'm going to look for a pie chart for today. Perfect. And what you're going to see is that Express added that chart and automatically added our brand kit colors. I'm just going to reposition that and drop it where I want it to appear. And now we are getting somewhere. Next, I want to add my logo here. So I'll go back to my brands and I'm just going to add the logo here to the top and I'm going to resize that, which is really easy to do. Now, something that you may have noticed here is there is a paperclip icon. That is because this asset was designed in Illustrator, which means it's a linked asset. Let's say I had to go into Illustrator and make an update to my logo. If I did that and came back to Express, there would be a refresh button here, making it really easy to collaborate with your other Creative Cloud apps. Next, I want to create some visual separation for the footer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a shape here. A footer is usually made up of a rectangle. So I'll navigate over to Elements, And I'm going to view all the shapes that I have. And I'm looking for a rectangle. And I'll drag and drop that where I want it to appear. And then I'm going to reposition this on my page and extend it off the canvas. Now, don't worry if it extends off the canvas. Only what appears inside your canvas, also known as the safe zones, is going to appear in your final export. Now, you might be wondering, where is the text? And that's because the rectangle is layered on top. To fix that, we're just going to send it to the back by clicking on those three dots and send to back. And now my text appears through the colored rectangle like a transparent overlay. And there you have it, using Express to stylize a PDF, going from a one-page black and white document to something that I'd be really proud to give to my boss. Now let's talk about templates, one of the most powerful and time-saving features in Adobe Express. To stay on theme with the webinar that we're hosting, I want to create a poster or some promotional content I can use across social platforms or maybe include in an email newsletter. From the home page, I'll click on the Document tab from the top toolbar. And when I scroll down, I'm going to see a lot of options for templates. I'm going to choose Poster for today. Now, you can create a template using generative AI, but I already know what I want to do. So I'm going to click a tech webinar, and Express is going to give me a few options that fit. Now, if you're looking for something a little bit more specific, you can click on that filter, the funnel icon, and take a look at the output section here. You'll have access to over 100 options to choose from, and they are very specific. As an example, you can create a business card, you can do a bookmark, you can even do a bottle label. So definitely take a look at the output options there. Now, I do see a option for a poster that I really like. So once it's opened in my canvas, it's important to understand what you're actually going to be editing. This template, for example, it's made up of an image, it's made up of text, it's made up of shapes, and a background. For those who have worked with Creative Cloud, this might look really familiar. Express uses layers just like those apps. Layers help you manage a visual hierarchy so you can move, adjust, or edit individual elements without affecting the entire design. You can also lock down layers to prevent objects from moving around your canvas. Now, there are some elements on here that I just don't really need, so I'm just going to click on that to highlight those three lines, and I'm easily going to delete that. Now that I have my base ready, I'm going to apply our brand kit. Navigate over to brands, and the same idea applies. We're going to apply brand and look at what happens. So it updated everything with our color palette, our fonts, and the style to represent our corporate branding. If you want to see other options, click Apply Brand again to give you a few different options to choose from. But I'm going to stick with the first one here. Now, you might recall that we created an image earlier using generative AI. So what I'm actually going to do is replace the existing image with that one. I'll navigate over to My Stuff and choose the image from my uploads. And you'll see that there's going to be a replace icon here. And so the new image is going to show up where that existing image was. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Now, I really want to be able to translate this into a few languages for our global teams. It's really simple to do. You're just going to click on the translate button, and then you can select the languages you want to translate to. I'm going to choose French and German, and I'll hit translate. And it might take a few seconds depending on the complexity of your design, but what it's going to give you are those now three options. Really important here, just double check the translated versions because text length might vary by language. So you might need to resize or reposition some of the elements, which, as you know, is really simple to do in Express. Now that my poster is ready, I want to repurpose this for LinkedIn without starting from scratch. That's where the resize feature in Adobe Express comes in. With just one click, I'm going to resize this. I'll choose LinkedIn post, and I can either resize the existing project, or if I want to maintain the original design, I can duplicate and resize. This makes it really easy to adapt designs for multiple platforms like Instagram or Facebook, even email headers or YouTube. Now, once I've changed that, once I've resized this, I might need to tweak some of the elements, but as you know, it's really easy to reposition the elements on my page. And then I'm just going to extend that footer off here, and we're pretty much ready to go. I've already connected my LinkedIn account. So what I'm going to do is click on the share button, and I'll click on LinkedIn here. And I am going to be adding a caption that was approved from my marketing department. You can use AI to generate that caption for you as well. Once I have my poster there, I can hit publish now, but I highly recommend using the preview feature so you can see what this is going to look like once it's shared. If I'm happy with that, I can publish it, or I can even schedule this using the date and time picker to schedule it at a later date. Or I can even set that as a draft if I'm not quite ready to share it and it might need some more edits. And that's it. It's a really simple end to end workflow for creating, localizing, and publishing branded content using a single template in Express. The last feature I want to show you is how easy it is to import a PowerPoint presentation into Express from your OneDrive account. You're going to navigate to add-ons from the left side menu here, and I'll go and look for my installed add-ons, and I'm going to open my OneDrive account. You're going to see it's taken me to a new project where I have all the files from my OneDrive, and I'm going to import this PowerPoint presentation. It might take a few seconds for that to render, depending on the complexity of your presentation from OneDrive. Once I open my deck in Adobe Express, I can apply my branding if I want by navigating over to the brands and selecting the brand that I would like to apply here. And just with one click of a button, I can apply our entire brand kit to this deck. Now, what I really wanted to do next was turn this into a reusable template so my entire team can create from this. What I want to do first is maybe lock down some of the elements of my presentation because I do want to maintain some of the brand control here. I want my team to be able to create independently, but I want to maintain some brand consistency and maintain some control over the images and the layout. So, what I'm actually going to do is lock down this image right here. I have two options. I can lock it and I cannot allow someone to replace the image, or I can lock it where it's positioned, but allow someone to replace that image. Next up, what I'm going to do is turn this into a reusable template by clicking on File, Make a Template, and it's going to open up what is a new feature in Adobe Express. This is just my general info tab here where I can add information about this template and how to use it. If I navigate over here to locks, this is where I can define what a user can edit. For instance, you can allow users to unlock layers in the presentation if needed. You can allow them to unlock layers with a passphrase, or you can disable unlocking entirely to enforce brand control. Under the Styles tab, you can restrict users to only your brand colors and fonts. You can also limit access to Adobe stock media, ensuring that the content is only replaced using your shared assets from a company library or a brand kit. And then finally, under review and approve, you can assign up to 3 approvers here. Now, please note this approval process does not block downloads, but if someone tries to share or export the file without approval, a watermark is going to appear across the entire project that says needs approval. This is a really powerful feature for organizations that might be concerned about brand governance. It allows users to self serve while still giving your brand team control over how and when those assets are shared. And that concludes session 1 for today. Just to recap what we went over, we started out by navigating the product and the UI. We reviewed brand kits, how to create them and share them with your colleagues or team members. We looked at some of the generative AI features available in Express. We explored some quick actions like profile, picture maker, and editing and stylizing a PDF. We also took a look at all the templates that are available in Express. And then we finished it off with tailored content creation, importing a presentation from your OneDrive account and applying your brand, and then applying permission controls. Okay. For next time, we're going to take a look at bulk creation, where you can create one project with up to 99 pages. We're going to take a look at the video, audio, and animation capabilities in Express. We'll look at adapting that content for reuse across multiple social media platforms. We'll take a look at publishing and exporting options available in Express. And then we're going to finish it off with best practices for asset organization in collaboration amongst team members.